Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today is the 1-year anniversary of A Little Coffee. So to celebrate, we're going to have some coffee and talk about consistency. Life, getting things done, working hard, doing good work, at the end of the day, really is about, well, showing up and doing the work. So, let's discuss that. It's a happy birthday coffee, that's right. 1 full year of being here with all of you. I didn't think this through all that well. We'll see how well this goes. Yeah, recently came back from Borgata. That was good. I took 35th place in the tournament, which was, fine. To be fair, 35th out of, 1,000-something people is not so bad. But at the same time, it's always a little bit bittersweet. Late on day 3, I lost 4 out of 5 all-ins. And that'll do the end. I actually had a really big pot that I played where I had ace-king. It would raise 3-bet. I jammed for like 50 big blinds. He called it off, no problem with jacks. And I was out. Sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles, and there's not a whole lot you can do. But yeah, 1 whole year. So I remember when I made JonathanLittlePoker.com, where I was just writing a blog every week. When I made 1 year, I'm like, wow, that's a lot. Now here we are 5 years in, still doing it every single week. And I think A Little Coffee's going to end up being like that as well, which makes me happy because all of you clearly enjoy it. It's a good time for me, lets me talk about things, flesh out ideas, and works out well. Should probably blow out this candle before I light my face on fire. But hey, why not? A little wax never hurt anyone, right? So what all's going on with you? I have not been here for how long? About a week. I want to figure out how to work better whenever I'm traveling. But it turns out whenever I just play poker till midnight, wake up at 10 a.m., play poker again till midnight, it's hard to do work. That's something that I have a problem with. That's something I need to figure out. But I will figure it out one day. We'll get there soon enough. So, let's talk about consistency. Let's talk about it. Consistency is very important. And I think that is actually why most people do not fail. Or do not succeed. I think that's why most people fail. Because if you think about it, what does it take to get good at something? It takes a few things, right? It takes resources, right? You have to be able to find good people to study from, but that's pretty readily available for almost everything at this point in life, thanks to the internet. Thank you, internet. And resources are no longer a problem. Like education is no longer a problem. Okay, fine. Knowing that's not a problem, what else is there? I mean, obviously, some things take natural physical talent. Poker may take a little bit of natural mental talent. You do have to be kind of smart to be good at poker, I think. You're not going to find too many people who are just generally not all that smart succeeding at the high levels of poker, but there are a lot of people who are just of average intelligence who do perfectly fine at the small and medium stakes. And what does that mean? That means that they have found the resources and they've put in the time studying, practicing, and working. And a lot of people are really, really against hard work. And you have to realize that hard work is how you get good at everything. Think about it, right? I mean, there aren't a whole lot of reasonably high-skilled jobs that will allow you to succeed if you do not put in the work. Like, think about a doctor or a lawyer or a chemist or physicist or anything like that. To do anything at a high level, you have to put in time. Now, you want to make sure you're studying the right stuff, right? Clearly, if you go to medical school and you play poker all day, you may not be such a great doctor. But if you study the medicine hard, you'll probably end up okay. And poker is no different. I think a lot of people look at poker and think that poker is a game where you can just show up and outthink your opponents. It's like, well, what makes you think you can outthink your opponents who are studying and working harder than you. Like, in what world does that make sense, right? It just doesn't make sense. And I don't understand why a lot of people have such ego problems to the point that they think that without working, without studying, they can drastically outplay their opponents. And I fully recognize the only reason that I have had any success at poker is because I found the right people a long time ago, especially when it was hard to find study material. And I also put in way more hours than almost everyone else, because I'm not like the naturally most smart person in the world. I'm certainly not naturally good at poker. When I first started playing poker, I was way too tight, way too nitty, and that resulted in me losing initially. But at the same time, I realized that poker was a skill game, and if you study and work hard, you will improve, right? This camera's slightly off center. Just got back home. And everything's out of whack. Let's see what all of your comments are. Should probably read those, huh? You have $5,000 in your bankroll. Listen, if bankroll questions, go to jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll. We need to get a little logo. jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll. Let's see. What amount of tournaments should you play? Come on. Same question we get every single time. Go to jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll. Read it. You're proud of yourself. You've been in Vegas for 4 days for work. You felt under the weather. You've not played one hand of poker. Well, that's no fun. Glad to see me doing well in tournaments. Thank you. It's always good to do well in tournaments. I just took 35th at Borgata. I did a great job of slowly chipping up, playing not so loose, not so tight, in the middle poker, playing. I'm very, very happy with my post-flop game at the moment. I am unhappy with the fact that I lost all my all-ins. Early on day 3, I had about an average stack. And like very early in the day, I had ace-king, all-in against king-queen. And I lost. Then I had a flip. I won with ace-queen suited against nines. Then I lost jacks to what? Jacks to ace-king, I think. And then my bust-out hand was ace-king to jack. So, I mean, when you're on the wrong side of the all-ins, you're not going to win. But the fact that I lost 4 out of 5 all-ins on day 3 is not so bad. You know, if you make any sort of deep run and you lose all your all-ins, it's just A-okay. All right, let's see. 10,000 hours of study and practice. I'm not exactly sure 10,000 hours is the right number. Obviously, a lot is the right number. But, like, what is a lot? The thing is that poker is a game where I actually think you can get pretty good pretty fast. And what happens is if you find the right stuff to study, you can progress very quickly. What happens to a lot of people is they first get into poker and they read a book that says only play the best hands. So they sit there for 1,000 hours only playing the best hands, right? So that 1,000 hours is kind of wasted. If you instead hook up with someone who knows how to play very well and they are a good teacher, you will progress very quickly. If you look at a lot of the players who play the high roller tournaments, who are the recreational players, every single one of them, for the most part, has studied with someone who is world class, and that allows the recreational players to just not get absolutely crushed, right? If they read a book written 20 years ago and decided to play like that, they would just get absolutely demolished, but they don't. And since they don't get demolished, what does that imply? That implies what they are studying is very good, and I'm sure they're very naturally smart. So, I'm not sure 10,000 hours is the right number. I used to think you needed a lot of experience to be very good at poker, but as I have found even better and better things to study, I have gotten better. I mean, really, you stand on the shoulders of giants, right? You piggyback off the people who have already done all the hard work, and if they've already done the hard work, it makes your life easy. I mean, the quizzes at pokercoaching.com, for example, are a great way to get very good very quickly, because it's like you're sitting there with someone going through kind of tough spots, telling you exactly the thoughts you need to be having in these scenarios. I mean, I was walking behind a guy on the way back from break in the Borgata tournament the other day when there were 50 people left, and he was saying things on the phone like, all right, I was dealt 2 ladies under the gun, so I bumped it up. And then it folds around to the big blind who calls. It comes, what do you say? I think he even said, like, rocket 4-2. He checked, so I went all in because I didn't think he had too many rockets. Like, what? How is this person still in this tournament with 50 people left? And that's just how this guy thought, right? He's not having good thoughts. Like, why can't the opponent just have an ace? Right? Why are you calling it a rocket? You know, like, all of these thoughts don't make sense. And if you have that thought process, it's going to take you forever to get good at poker if you ever get there. Whereas if you think more concisely, you will, and about the right things, you will get better way faster. 1 year of a little coffee already. That is right. Thank you for a year of cappuccinos. You're welcome. This one will be epic. I'm not so sure about that, but we'll do our best. Everyone thinks that they're special to some degree. It's a tough leak to plug. Yeah, I learned a long time ago that I'm not special. I learned a long time ago that if I'm good at one thing, it is putting in the work. And that's all good. Not afraid of that. Let's see. Bill Perkins was talking about the fear of failure. He said, I'd only got a B, but I didn't study. The reason he didn't study was because he was afraid of studying and still getting a B. All right, sure. I do know a lot of people talk to Elliot Rowe a lot about this. They sort of sabotage themselves to some extent by just not putting in the work required to succeed. And then when they don't succeed, they're like, okay, good. They really fear the idea of I'm going to put in a lot of time and work and then still fail. And you have to understand that in poker, what is failing? Failing in poker is really hard to define. Some people view failing as just like losing it all in. Like when I lose with ace king against jacks in this tournament for, whatever, 1.5 times average. Did I fail? No. I'm actually very, very happy with my play. And throughout the whole tournament, I think I played pretty great. And not to be egotistical, but I really do. And that's because I've been working very hard, studying a lot, and applying what I've learned, right? But yeah, a lot of people don't like to fail. One thing I got really good at in, I guess even like middle school and high school, is I got good at failing. I played the trumpet in middle school and high school, and I was often assigned to play solos, which were way too difficult for me. So I'd be doing something in front of everybody who cared about middle school and high school band, and inevitably I would mess up some portion of the time. And that is good. I think getting in there, failing, getting beat up a little bit, not physically, but whatever, you know what I'm saying, having a tough time will teach you grit and persistence. And that is what is required in many competitive environments as you grow up. And poker is a very, very competitive game. What's a good bankroll to play 50 cent, 50 cent? Go read jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll. You just banked a $140 tournament for $3,500. Nice job. Good job, good work. Luis finished on I'm not sure what you're saying. Maybe you cashed for 10K or something. Good job. All these good cashes. Good job, good job. All right, let's see. What is a desired consistency of a break-even player in terms of studying, playing, etc., etc.? Oliver, this depends entirely on your life and what you're trying to accomplish, right? Are you trying to become the best poker player in the world? If you are, well, drop everything you're doing and study almost all the time, right? I think one thing a lot of people don't quite understand is that they think they need to play a lot to get good. And playing a lot is helpful, don't get me wrong. You need to play some. But if you are not winning already, you immediately need to move down to where the money is irrelevant. And then you also need to study a ton because you're not winning. Why keep playing if you're not winning, right? It's going to take you forever to learn how to play better by playing against players. And you just can't do that. So anyway, what's the desired or the optimal frequency of study to playing? I mean, I would be studying a lot. Actually, Michael Acevedo talks about this in his great book, Modern Poker Theory, about how if you are not winning, study a ton, right? That's really what it amounts to. What would you do now with studying and playing with 2 children and a family if you have to crush it from the start? Well, you don't have to crush it from the start. You don't get to crush it from the start. That is not how... it's not how life and poker works. You don't get to just immediately start winning. Like, say someone put me in a scenario where I have to win $100,000 every day. Well, it's just not going to happen. Sorry. What if you are not good at poker? What if you never played poker and you have to all of a sudden start... imagine you like have to start winning $1,000 a day or $500 a day. You're not. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I hate to break it to you. I'm a Scott Adams fan. That name sounds familiar, but I do not know. I'm your little coffee giant. Yeah, thank you. Is the day coming where people will show up with a computer and they do what the computer says? Well, Eric, if you play the super high roller tournaments, you will already see that what all the kids do is the German kids, I know for sure, maybe the others as well, anytime they have a spot, they text it after the hand to someone, their GTO person. Their GTO person sends them back the solution in about 2 minutes. And talk about a good way to learn. Play high stakes, get immediate feedback on the hand you just played. That's what they do. I'm sure they're paying some guy $100K a year to sit there, run all the simulations, and be available on call. Mario says, luck is the most relevant factor in poker. Depends on the skill levels at work. If players are of equal skill level, then luck is all that matters, right? Because you're just flipping coins. But if people are not of equal skill levels, which they almost always are not, then the luck is sometimes very relevant, sometimes not so relevant, depending on the structure of the game. If you're playing cash games, luck is irrelevant, assuming you're playing them with the long term in mind. Because if you look at the results of winning or losing cash game players, their results just trickle up. Sure, you can look at a 10,000 hand sample and say, oh, we lost in that period, so it's all luck. But that doesn't matter, right? It matters if you're short-sighted. If you have the long term in mind, if you were trying to be a professional, which means big samples, their results just trickle right up. So there's no luck. Maybe there's luck in that maybe they could win plus or minus like 5% over 5 million hands that they'll play in their life, but like whatever. You know, if you're winning, let's say it's like a 50% upwards curve and you're plus or minus 5% for standard deviations or whatnot, then whatever, doesn't matter. In tournaments, you have way more swings. There is more luck in tournaments because you're playing bigger pots for lots more money. You play fewer pots for lots more money, whereas in cash games, it's just like no pot is relevant. In tournaments, say you play a full schedule, you may actually only have something like 50 really relevant hands each year, and certainly you can't just run poorly over 50 hands. Because, like, you know, you get, well, like my thing just the other day, in the 35th place, where I lost, the pot we played was for about 1.7 million chips, which was, 40 starting stacks? What's 40 times 3,500? $120,000? $120,000, it's not exactly $120,000. Call it a $100,000 flip or $80,000 flip in equity. I lost. So that right there, $80,000 went to the opponent that did not go to me. And that's okay. How many of those do you get each year? Not a whole lot. All right, so anyway, long discussion about luck. It really just doesn't matter if you put in volume. Volume cures variance. Do not forget. Do not forget. Tom says the same questions all the time, isn't it? It's all about consistency. What's my thought on Phil Ivey's backer owning his win? I'm not exactly sure, Joel. I don't know exactly what you're referring to. How would I play a hand where he might easily be dominated? Play them. 3-bet them. Call them. I don't know. Realize you're not always dominated. Was my hand with ace king all in preflop? Yes, it was all in preflop. Went raise, 3-bet, I 4-bet. All in, he called it. Let's see. You didn't get the notification that I went live today. Well, that's odd. Don't know why. Drinking a cappuccino now. You all love cappuccino. No one here seems to drink coffee. Is there really a difference? Not exactly sure there's a difference between... I mean, I know there is a difference between the two things, but I wonder if there's a health benefit one way or the other. You got to play with Alex Fitzgerald this week at Borgata. His table presence was very focused and intense. I got to bust Alex Fitzgerald this week in the main event. It's actually funny because I often buy a piece of his action. He always sells 20 or 30% to his fans, and I usually just buy whatever he has left over. This time he immediately sold out, so I didn't get any of his action. He shows up to my table on day 2 We immediately get it all in with a flip, and he was out. He only had like 20 big blinds or 30 big blinds, but yeah, he's intense. There's so much chance, and obviously there are factors outside of your control. I mean, look, so many people think that they actually have control over many things in their life that they do not have control over at all. For example, if I go outside and walk across New York City to go to a meeting, there's some chance I just get hit by a car and die. Obviously, I'm going to do everything I can to not get hit by a car. I'm not going to walk in the street when there's a red light. You know, like I'm not going to be an idiot when I'm walking. But every once in a while, I'm going to get hit by a car and die. And I recognize this, right? I recognize my significant other is going to get hit by a car every once in a while. My kids are going to get hit by a car every once in a while. And when that happens, you can't do anything about it, right? My little James is walking to school every day. Has to walk 4 or 5 blocks up busy intersections, and it's going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen if I run this situation 100 million times. Obviously, it's only going to happen like, I don't know. Well, do the math. Not a whole lot. But if it does happen, I can't be devastated because I have no control over it. I want my kid to go to school. I want my wife out there having a career. You know, like I want them to be doing the things that they want to do. And there's always risk involved in everything. And the idea of I want to do things that have no risk or that I'm completely in control over is asinine. It really is. Even if you go play a chess tournament, a game that's quite skill intensive, if in the first round you get paired against the best player in the room randomly, you lose, you're out. Whereas if you're on the other side of the spectrum, say, or on the other side of the tournament, and you're the second best player and they're the first best player, you take second place. So think of the variance involved in playing the first round. You just get paired randomly. You're out. No prize money. But if you just get a better table draw, like in poker, right? If you get a better table draw, you take second place for a lot of money. And there's a whole lot of luck there. Like a lot of luck. And you have to be okay with that. I mean, life has variance. Learn to accept the things that are out of your control because you really have no control about it. I mean, all you can do is just not play. You can instead not play the game, which is fine. You don't have to play. But you better get used to variance because it's going to beat you up and it's going to randomly surprise you with good things. It's better to use tournaments or cash to try to build a bankroll. It depends on if you want variance or not. Typically, you don't want variance when your bankroll is small, assuming you are going to be an actual professional, not just a straight gambler. If you're straight gambling, tournaments are great because you're usually going to lose a little bit or win a ton. But if you're going to put in a lot of volume, then cash games are definitely the way to go because, again, it just trickles up. Drink coffee through a straw to save your teeth. We can always just get new teeth, I believe. Do people drink the coffee through their teeth? I drink it like, how do I drink the coffee? I don't think the coffee touches the teeth. Coffee goes straight into my tongue and then backwards. Maybe a tiny bit on the back of my teeth. It certainly doesn't touch the front. It's interesting. Let's see. Watch out for buses too. Yeah. He got beat up as a 96% favorite on the river last night and busted. Ordinary man realized it doesn't matter. That's exactly what I'm trying to say here. Is that who cares? Because you're going to play the tournament thousands and thousands more times if you were doing it professionally. If you're playing properly bankrolled. If you are actually going to put in the volume. And if you're not, then realize you're straight up gambling. And if you're gambling, sometimes you lose, right? Get used to it. If you need more calcium, drink cappuccino. If you want to cut calories, don't. Does cappuccino have calories? Oh, not cappuccino. Cappuccino has milk. Oh, everyone's having milk in their coffee. I see, that's the difference. I always have the black coffee. Look, you can't even see it in there. I promise there is coffee. Can you? I promise there's coffee in here. Okay, everybody's having the cappuccino, so they're all having milk in their coffee. I drink milk in the coffee when the coffee is awful. Every once in a while I'll go to the diner and the coffee will not be so good. That's when we have the cappuccino. Okay. Let's get back on topic. Let's talk about consistency. Okay. First things first. You have to get your priorities defined. They don't even necessarily have to be in the ideal order for life, but you need to get them clearly defined, okay? Because you are going to do what actually matters to you. And if you don't have them defined, they actually are defined, you just don't realize it. For example, if you wake up and you watch 4 hours of TV, you're saying that 4 hours of TV is my priority over everything else. And that's okay, right? As long as you realize this. But you want to get your priorities in straight. My priorities right now are to get back in better shape. I've been in the gym 3 times over the last week, which is way more than I have in the past. I need to get caught up on my work, which it's always a priority. Work never ends when I'm working for all of you. And I want to be more mindful when I'm at home with my family time. I want to enjoy the moments more. I was talking to one of my mentors, Kurt Kohlberg, and he was saying, you really just have to learn to enjoy the moments. I am really good at doing things, not so good at savoring things. And I have to get better at that. So anyway, we have some priorities. And you need to make sure you have your priorities in line. If your priorities are to be the best poker player you can, yet you are spending your time watching TV or going to work even, right? That's not actually your main priority. For the most part, most people's priority are pay their bills, number one, and then other things, right? And that's okay. But if in your mind, paying your bills is not actually your priority, you spend all your time doing it, it is your priority, you're just unaware of it, right? It's very important to be aware of the things that are happening in your mind that you are not quite so visible. Jeff Gross Poker in the house. Good morning. It's always good to see. Up and grinding already. Let's see. You can't afford to keep losing. You had a bankroll, but you got beat down. Realize if you had a bankroll, but you keep getting beat down, you have to move down. So many people refuse to move down. Again, go back to jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll because it very clearly says there, when you get beat down, you need to move down. And if you're not moving down, you're going to have a really difficult time succeeding. What have I learned from Kurt? Oh, I've learned a lot of stuff from Kurt because Kurt's been through lots and lots of swings in life. Some under his control, some out of his control. And he makes a point to be happy. And he also makes a point to help other people, which I think I'm pretty good at helping other people. I don't think I'm necessarily so good at actually being happy. I mean, look, I feel perfectly happy. I have no problems in life. I'm not sad or depressed or any of that. But I recognize that other people have and experience way better, way more emotions than I do, like highs and lows. I remember Justin Bonomo talked about this a while back about how poker completely sucks the emotions out of you if you play all the time at very high stakes, because emotions are kind of your enemy. If you are, like, imagine you're just devastated every time you lose a flip that doesn't matter in the long run. You're just going through huge amounts of emotional swings, right? And that will inevitably make you play poorly for the most part. Sure, some people say that when they get emotional, they play better. I don't think that's the case with me. When I get emotional, I tend to not play better. So you naturally learn to suppress your feelings. And if you play poker all day, every day for 15 years like I've done, it takes all the emotions out of life. And that's not what you want. So I'm trying to regain those. Anyway, what are your priorities? Sit down and determine your priorities. And if it is important, if it's actually important to you, you will do it. For example, most people don't want to lose their teeth, so they wake up and they brush their teeth. And before they go to bed, they brush their teeth. And why do they do that? Because it's actually important. Even if they don't recognize it's important. Whenever you go and you brush your teeth, you don't think, oh, I'm brushing my teeth because I really want to have my teeth in 50 years. No, you just wake up and you do it because it's a naturally ingrained priority. It's a habit, right? And you need to make sure that your habits are good. Your priorities will inevitably turn into habits. For example, before I had my kids, I would wake up, deal with a little bit of work, go to the gym, Monday to Friday. It was a habit. But I got out of the habit. And it turns out the bad habits are often easier to stay in than the good habits, because the good habits actually take a little bit of effort, a little bit of work. So a good way to stick with them is to set a schedule. Great example of this, a little coffee, right? I made this show, you all may not believe this, it's a bit selfish. I made this show because I realized a lot of you out there loved my training content, but you did not know me, right? I wanted to become relatable, because at the end of the day, you don't want a robot telling you how to play poker. You want someone you actually can relate to. Now, I realize I'm probably not the most relatable person. I am a real human. We have swings, we have emotions, we win sometimes, we lose sometimes, and I want you to see all of that. I want you to see that I'm trying to actually help you, not just putting out nonsense, right? And that's one of the things I wanted to try to make happen. And I thought the best way to do it is to wake up a few days a week and talk to you all. Just show up and talk. And turns out you all enjoy it. You keep showing up and watching. So it's been good. And it's on my schedule. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. If I'm not in a tournament, wake up, do a little coffee. And I don't mind it. I like it. It's good, right? You're going to find that if your habits are things that you enjoy, things that you want to do, those are really easy. Like, this is easy. I have a few people on my team saying, why do you wake up and do this little coffee? It's not like you're making a ton of money or selling anything or anything like that. It's because I like it. And I think it's good for me and good for you, right? Like, why would I not do things that are good for me and good for you? Set a schedule. And then once you have your schedule in place, you have to stick to it. You have to be disciplined. So many people do not actually want to be disciplined. Because, I don't know why. It's because it's easier to not be disciplined, right? People want life to be easy. And I hate to break it to you, being great at anything is not easy. And you have to recognize that. So, understand you can't be great at everything. I, in theory, want to be in perfect shape, which I'm not. I want to be a great Magic the Gathering player, which, I'm pretty good, but not the best. I want to be a good Hearthstone player, which I'm pretty good, but not the best. But I realize I'm not devoting time, no time at all, to Magic and Hearthstone. Very little time to being in shape. And I should not expect to be good at those things, right? I realize a lot of you out there do a similar thing with poker. You want to be good at poker, and you want to, let's say, be in shape, and you want to play fantasy sports and all this, yet you don't actually do the things that indicate you actually do care about those things, right? Think about it. Say you want to be a good daily fantasy sports player. Are you studying the numbers all day? Are you constantly working on your algorithms and your models? You're like, no. A lot of people aren't doing that. They're just loading up some numbers, throwing it in there, and gambling. But they say they want to be good at something. Same thing with poker, right? And you have to realize that in order to be good at anything, you must devote a lot of yourself to it. And a lot of people just don't do it. I can't say that enough. I'm sure I sound like a robot here, broken record, saying it over and over again. To be good at something, you have to put in significant time and devotion. But a lot of people don't recognize that. I was talking to Kurt the other day. He was talking about how you have to sacrifice for things, and I don't really realize that. I don't view this show, for example. Is this show a sacrifice? In theory, it is, because I'm giving up 3 or 4 hours of my week each month, or 3 or 4 hours of my week each week. So what is that? Call it 100 hours a week out the door. But is that a sacrifice? I don't view it as a sacrifice. But if you think about it, I could do a whole lot of work in 100 hours. But I don't, because I'd rather be doing this. And you have to realize there's opportunity costs to everything you do. Meaning if you go to the gym for an hour every day, it's 5 hours a week. You could be doing something else. If you're watching TV for 2 hours each night, think about that. 700 hours. You could be doing something else. You could go to a college class and learn an actual skill in that time. Instead, a lot of people just spend it goofing off. I spend it goofing off. I spend an hour every day watching TV at home with my wife, and maybe I need to be doing something else. I don't know. The thing is, it's way easier to do the things that are not necessarily productive and useful than it is to do things that are hard. For example, if we studied computer science for an hour each night, that'd be way more strenuous than putting on a TV show. And you do need some downtime, but I think you want to minimize the things you do that are not so productive. Enjoyment's important, but productivity is also very important, especially if you're not already quite productive. Let's see. Instagram's going off over here today. Hello, Instagram. I am a good father and husband. I do my best, but you all don't know that, but I think I am. What's the best chance to win a bracelet outside of America? You can only win it at the World Series Europe, right? I guess World Series APAC if they still do that. Just dedicate 1 hour of your morning and drink a lot of water and eat a lot of... you can be in shape if you go to the gym for an hour, drink a lot of water, and drink a lot of vegetables. Yeah, so every morning, you all may not know this, because this is before I get on the line with you, I have a giant green smoothie. You see how big this huge coffee cup is. It's actually a pretty big cup. You see, this is how it is. This is the size of my head, pretty much. I have about 3 of these worth of blended vegetables in the morning. It's probably the reason I'm not gigantically overweight. Speaking about getting in shape, I've already ordered salads for the next... I had 2 salads yesterday for food. Have a salad today for food. And, you know, they're hearty salads. They probably have 500, 600 calories in them. But anyway, it's a priority, right? I have a priority to get back in shape, and we're going to do it. Let's see. It's all about value add and non-value add. Yeah, if things in your life don't add value, get rid of them. If things are valuable, you need to keep doing them. At least you come up with ideas for your next book by chatting with all of you. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying that this is not valuable. That's what I'm trying to make clear here. I'm not saying that I'm unhappy that I've been doing this show for a year. I'm very happy I've been doing this show for a year. If it came off differently, it's a communication problem that I have. What I'm saying, though, is that you need to try to make your priorities and make sure your priorities are actually useful and valuable to you and others, as opposed to things that are just purely not useful. For example, playing games, right? I love playing games like Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone. I have not played a Magic the Gathering game in like a year and a half. Why? Because it's definitely not going to make me money. It's going to make me marginally happier. But I realize that as a poker player, as someone who sits and plays games a lot, I want my recreation to be very different than that. Because you're just doing more of the same. You're going to find that you want your hobbies to be very different than your work. And that's because you're going to need different things in your life. I mean, in theory, I would love to do like art, right? I think painting and drawing would be a great thing for me to get into, but I just don't because it's not a priority, right? I was suggested to go do rock climbing, like indoor rock climbing in New York City. They have these rock climbing gyms because that's something that'll keep you in shape. It's still strategic, but it's also very physical, as opposed to poker, which is completely not physical. Let's see. You have to be willing to give up what you want right now for what you want later. Yeah, it's true. You want your hobby to be something you get paid to do. Well, realize that getting paid is perhaps a priority for you, right? Think about this. If you already have plenty of money, do you want your hobby to actually pay you? Most people don't care. You're going to find a lot of really rich people are happy to light tons of money on fire because they don't care about that anymore. So, Poker Gypsy, what you're essentially saying is that you don't have tons of money yet, and a priority for you is to make money, right? Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We already discussed this. People go and they work at a job they don't like all day because their number one priority is make money and pay bills and not end up on the street, right? So, there's nothing wrong with that priority, but realize that that is a priority for you now, and understand that it does not necessarily have to be a priority for you long term, and that is A-okay. Let's see. Poker coaching, how important do you think revision is, and do you have a method for it? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Last week I said in one of my videos, we had aces, and we marked, you're not just betting your aces, you could be betting your entire range. Well, let's say, for example, Walt, you raise from early position in the big blind calls, and the flop comes Jack 7-2, that's a board where Under the Gun has a range advantage and a nut advantage, so they can bet small with all of the hands in their range. Aces, kings, queens, jacks, 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack, king, queen, king, jack. Like, all these hands can just be bet because your opponent can't do anything. They're just completely screwed. And we discussed that thoroughly over at pokercoaching.com. As Vic says, it is completely free to sign up for a free trial membership, because I'm so convinced that if I give it to you for free, you'll like it. You'll learn from it. You'll sign up, and you'll become a long-term member. You'll find basically every other training site out there wants to charge you some big upfront fee. They want to charge you a relatively high monthly rate, or they just want to charge you a ton right up front, and they do not offer any sort of money-back guarantee. I give you lots of stuff for free up front. I give you a money-back guarantee if you don't like it, and that's because I know you will like it. Of course, everyone doesn't like it. Some small percentage asks for a refund, but it's fine. right? If I'm not actually helping you, then whatever, I don't deserve to get paid. Pretty much everyone else out there wants to get paid a ton up front because they're not so confident in their work. They are not sure that they're actually teaching you. And look, I've been around for a while. I know how to teach people at this point, and I'm always getting better. I randomly met a guy the other day who teaches people for a living at very, very important topics, and I learn a lot from people, right? I'm not one of the people who just play poker all day every day and neglect their other responsibilities. And at this point in life, one of my responsibilities, one of my priorities, is to help all of you become better at poker and enjoy life more. And that's my job, right? My job is not to sit and grind all day. People ask me, why are you not grinding 5-10 in all of your spare time to make $100 an hour? Because I don't want to be doing that, because I have more important things to do. It's not all about grinding out dollars every single second that you're sitting there. Let's see. Jor, I'm still not sure what you're trying to say. Send me an email if you have any questions about poker coaching. Let's see. Into a final table with a big stack, and no one cares about ICM. What should you do? Just, well, I guess in theory, play as if you care about ICM, right? If you care about getting money, realize they're going to call off way wider. What if I got paid for doing this show instead of doing it for free? Great. I don't really care about getting paid from the show. To be fair, look, I am getting paid from the show because I know every time I make this show, somebody goes out and buys a book. Someone goes and signs up for poker coaching. So I'm not getting paid a flat fee. I'm getting paid for my work, right? Again, this goes back to the idea of, like, you see people who have podcasts, a poker podcast, and instead of advertising their products, they advertise some nonsense, like a web hosting service or something that's completely not even related. And if you ask why are they doing this, it's because they are so unconfident with their ability to add value that they are willing to take whatever value they're adding and get paid a discount to promote someone else. Which is fine. Look, I have no problem with people advertising and whatnot. But I want to promote the work that I am doing to help all of you and not promote others. So in theory, I am getting paid every time I do this type of show. It's just not in a direct, all right, I'm going to do this show and make $500 because a website's going to pay me to do it. It'd be great if they wanted to do that, but I've turned down plenty of sponsors. And that's because I would rather promote my own stuff. Am I doing a breakfast in Jacksonville? Ooh, I didn't think about it. Where could we even do a breakfast in Jacksonville? I'll write it down. I'll consider it. Probably not, though, honestly, because I don't think there's a whole lot of room there to do breakfast. I think the tournament starts at like noon, and I don't think the restaurant opens. But I'll look into that. Poker coaching literally changed your life. You are now playing full-time, and you're a winner because of the months of study. Definitely can improve your study habits, but so far you're doing great. Great! That's exactly what I want to hear, Rich. You try to surround yourself with smarter people and keep improving your life. This is exactly what I try to do as well. You bought into poker coaching after winning your first circuit ring. Nice job. Good work. You got blocked from Unibet Pros saying that I have the best coaching site. Oh, there are some trolls out there who work for that site. They actively promote the significant amount of negativity that goes on in the poker world, and it's unfortunate that that is what some companies think is good marketing. One thing you'll find is that at the end of the day, love and consistency win. If you love people, if you want to help people, and if you do it consistently, you cannot lose. And if you look at a lot of the best, the highest performing people out there, they work very, very hard for their group. And I mean, I'm doing the same thing, right? And it takes a long time. A lot of people don't realize if you give out a little bit of love, a little bit of consistency, it's not so useful. But if you do it for years, it compounds. It's exponential. And I'm seeing that now. Like my community is growing and growing. I'm not really doing a whole lot different than I was in the past, but I am still sitting here doing it 15 years later, right? Am I doing the webinar today or another coach? I have a webinar, yeah. Poker coaching webinars today at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Eastern time. Let's see. Let's see. When is the Jacksonville tournament? That is October 10th. K-Cap, I think you said you saw me or something at Atlantic City but didn't come say hi. Always come say hi. I love to see all of you. Even if I appear to be busy. Does documenting hands hurt my gameplay? No, I've gotten very good at documenting my hands very, very quickly. Is that the trophy over my shoulder for winning 95K? It is. Here's this thing. It's a trophy. I won, I think I won $97,000. Here, we'll show it to Instagram first. Can you all see it? Show it over here. August 7th. When was that? 2 weeks ago? Feels like forever ago. Yeah, I won 97K. Do I live in Florida? No. I live in New York City. Take a look at this. They also gave me this giant picture of me winning the tournament. How funny is that? I should probably do something with that. Let's see. There's a breakfast place down the street. So, Jason, I'll tell you the problem is I don't want to have to deal with transportation, right? I mean, maybe I can just tell people they got to show up in the car and that's it. But, I don't know. Transportation stuff. Let's see. You watched me play on Poker Night in Choctaw. It was good. What's the best way to study my new book? Understand, you say it's a lot of charts. Understand that you want to learn the ideas that come from the charts. Don't just think I need to memorize these charts. Think, what principles should I be learning from these charts? You don't think you balanced your checking range well at all. Well, maybe you don't. Most people don't. We're going to be discussing that today. But yeah, poker's been pretty nice to me recently. I mean, to be fair, in that Florida series, I cashed for 97K, but I bought in total for like 45K. So, I mean, it's not like I won too much money. Well, too much. 50K is not bad, but it's not a gigantic score. It's not $1 million. But then I lost every other tournament there. At Atlantic City, I played, I think, only 3 tournaments. And I took 35th place in one. So, you know, we're doing okay. He was thinking of a type form for tracking hands in live games, so I'd be willing to try it. I mean, Tom, I will. There's already some, like a keyboard that has like UTG, HJ, LJ, like basically, and the suits and all this stuff. But I don't even use it. Like I downloaded it, I tried to use it, it just wasn't all that useful for me. And that's because I'm very quick at just typing it out quickly on the phone, and you know, autocorrect doesn't change UTG to whatever else is close to UTG anymore. It knows what I'm trying to type. And I mean, I'll try it, but like simplicity is very, 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 very important. Simplicity and speed. And the problem is that pretty much every other thing is going to run into is that I'm already very fast. What's the name of the keyboard app? I don't know the name of the keyboard app, Mark. Maybe you can search it. Sorry. I don't use it. I don't know what to tell you. Should you be trying to play GTO against people who aren't? Well, if you know what they're doing wrong, you should always adjust and exploit them. If you don't know what they're doing wrong, you want to exploit the player pool tendencies or the perceived things your opponent's going to do wrong. And if you don't know that, you need to just play GTO. All right, well, we've been going for about an hour today. Is there anything else we want to talk about consistency? It's got to do the good work. Figure out what you need to do and then do it, right? Figuring out what you need to do is often the hardest part. That's step one. Once you figure out what you need to do it. Whenever I met Blas, who was a poker coaching member who turned, I think, $5 or $20, something like that, into $1.3 million on Party Poker in a very big tournament. Nice parlay for him. He, like we did some coaching sessions together to get him ready for the World Series, and he's been doing great in primarily in Europe. He was crushing the World Series Europe recently. Anyway, he showed me his schedule, and he had every hour of the day blocked off and scheduled. It's like, yeah, this is how I always try to do things and improve. And it's like how he does it, like a genius. I don't have my day blocked off like that. I mean, I do a little bit, but he had his priorities in check. He wanted to get good at poker, wanted to finish his degree, and also wanted to enjoy life. And he had these things scheduled and blocked off to make sure he did them. And he does them, and he's crushing life. And I mean, I would recommend everyone try to figure out how to schedule things very well. Like if your calendar is not pretty well blocked off with what you are doing, I think you're probably messing up a little bit. Obviously, you can have just like blocks of the day where you know you're supposed to be doing these things. Like for example, today I have to get ready for the poker coaching homework. That is my big task. That always takes 2 or 3 hours to go through everyone's answer and select the ones I want to go through. And I want to get ready to make weekly poker hands for next week, which makes me have to like enter hands and whatnot. It takes time. So that's it. That's what I'm doing today. But like I already know that. That's in my schedule. But what am I trying to say? You all need to figure out what you want to do. Can you show your schedule of a regular day? How much time learning, playing, etc.? Well, you realize now at this point, like my study time for the near future is me helping the poker coaches write, excelling at tough no-limit hold'em games, whatever we're going to call that book. I'm going through and watching the best training material from the poker backing site, and that's work and play, right? But anyway, no, my calendar is not anywhere near as good as Blaz's, but it's pretty solid. Like every day is pretty much blocked off throughout the day because I have stuff to do, right? I want to make sure that I do it, and you need to make sure that you do it. You just get Google Calendar. You can use it on any phone, and it'll sync to other devices, and it'll work out pretty well. Dino said, you read my book, and now you're crushing 1-2. It's time to move up. Go for it. If you're properly bankrolled, if the games are soft, go for it. See how it goes. What's my take on multi-tournament strategy during the rebuy period? Just play normally. You want me to talk about bankroll management? Fortunately, I already wrote everything I know about bankroll management at jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll. It's only 20 pages long. Go read it, and you'll know most everything you need to know about bankroll management. All right, that's me for today. I want to thank you for being here with me for 1 year. I guess you'll find out on Monday if I'm going to be back for another year. Spoiler, I probably will be. If I'm not here on Monday, then you know I probably slept in, which I'm not allowed to do because I have 2 kids. So yeah, if you want to give back to me, go to pokercoaching.com. If you've not already, get a completely free trial. If you really want to take your game to the next level, sign up to Poker Coaching Premium at pokercoaching.com/premium. That is what my best students are doing to significantly improve their game. They are studying a lot. It's not for people who don't want to study. And but if you really want to take your game to the next level, check out pokercoaching.com/premium. Watch the Cash Game Masterclass. Go through and watch all the videos on the specific topics, like whatever my students have asked me to make a class on, I make a class for it. And check that out. D. Sass says, watch the video by Mike Sexton on bankroll management. Yeah, that's in Poker Coaching. I believe that's probably under the free membership. It's also on YouTube. What to do once you've won $1 million. Basically, don't shoot yourself in the foot. Ask yourself, is this terrible for me? And if, let's say, going out and getting drunk and gambling all your money is bad for you, you probably don't want to be doing that, right? So figure out things that are bad for you and really make a point not to do those. Louis Philippe, who's here almost every morning, says, thanks for my precious time. It's great to be able to share your mindset almost every day. Well, only Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But thank you. I'm glad you're here. So that's me for today. Hope you all had a great time. I had a great time. If you ever want to watch any of the other episodes of A Little Coffee or listen to them, they're available on iTunes, YouTube, other podcasting applications. So check that out. Enjoy yourselves. Good luck. Have fun. Thanks again for being here. I appreciate you all being here with me for a whole year. We'll go for another year. We'll see how that goes. I'll talk to you next time.